Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll teach you how to make throwable fireballs using Minecraft data packs, just like that. So let's get started. In order to get our throwable item, I'll be using a loot table. Once again, we'll be going to missile.github.io and we'll be using their loot table generator here. And very simply, we just need a pool, and we just need for it to roll once. And we have the entry, and we want to select item. And now here we want a dummy item, which basically is an item that does absolutely nothing. And a very good one to use is a music disc. So you just type music and just select any music disc. For this one, I'll just do music disc cat. And you can leave these not empty because it doesn't really do anything. And now you want to click functions here, and it's very important. Now you want to go to components, and this is where all the bits that make it work happen. So firstly, although it's a music disc, we don't want it to be playable in the jukebox, so we want to click the second one down here, and we want to select exclamation mark jukebox playable and click the add key. This means that this item will no longer be jukebox playable. Now you want to come over to the top one here, and you want to make it max stack size. Click add, and you want to make it into 64, just a stack, so that it looks like a normal item. Next, item model here. Click add, and you want to add a model. This time you want to do fire charge. So now this music disc, as you can see on the right, will look like a fire charge, so it looks a lot cooler. After that, we want to add consumable. We don't need the food tag, because the consumable tag is what gives it the property that you can right click. Now because we want it to be instantly consumable, seconds will be 0. The animation here will be something simple, so we'll just do block. So it's just a very general, and you won't really even see it because consume seconds is 0, so it doesn't really matter. Now for the sound, you want it to sound a bit like shooting a fireball. So here we'll go string, and we want to select blaze, entity.blaze shoot. That will give you the immersion of shooting a fireball. And finally, has consume particles is false. We don't want any particles to be flying out when we're using our fire charge, not eating it. Now after we got consumables, next up we want to give it a custom item name here. So we click item name, and down here we want a big bracket, and inside we want a speech mark, and then text speech mark colon, and another 2 speech mark, and in between them we just want to type something like fireball or like throwable fireball, and we can give it a color. So color will be aqua, and that will give us a throwable fireball that looks pretty real now. It looks exactly like a fireball, and it's also called throwable fireball. Now next up, we want to add a custom data here, and the custom data can be a string here. We'll just put a big bracket, speech mark, and we'll just say throwable fireball here, true. So just something simple over here. Next, we want to have a use cooldown, so we can see the cooldown of the item. 1 second sound good, so every 1 second you can use the fireball. And for the cooldown group, I'll just put something very simple here, so like tutorial Datapack throwable fireball. So as you can see here, on the bottom right, we have our code here. So let's just copy this code and put it into our data pack. Inside your code now here, you want to right click loot table, which is under your tutorial data pack loot table. Right click that, you want to click new file and just give it a name like give fireball. And then .json, because this will be a JSON file. And in here you just paste in your code, save, and you're basically good to go here. Now next up will be how the game actually detects what actually just happened in the data pack here. So you want to go to advancement here and want to right click new file and we want to say something like use throwable fireball, and then this will be .json once again. In order to generate this advancement that detects whether you have used the fireball, we'll once again use a generator, which is the advancement generator. So let's go back to Misode and we'll go to an advancement generator this time. In our advancement generator here, the criteria you're gonna use is use item add, and we need something to trigger it. So the trigger will be actually when we consume the item, we actually want a condition here, and then we'll go item, and the item will have a predicate, and inside the predicate it will have a custom data room, and this custom data here is the data that we typed earlier in our item. So we want the exact custom data. So the data will be throwable fireball, and we'll just say true here, and there we go, the custom data throwable fireball true. The next thing we want is the reward. So the reward here is that we want it to run a function. We're gonna run the function, we'll put it in our tutorial data pack. The function will be something like use throwable fireball, and this can be any name you want, it's just a name. So now we just want to copy the advancement and we're gonna go right back into our code. Back in our code here, we want to go back to our advancement and use throwable fireball. Now we want to paste in this advancement we have just generated and save it. So we can see here throwable fireball, and this should be exactly the same as this custom data here, throwable fireball. Now we got this use throwable fireball, so we want to go to our function and make a new file called use throwable fireball .mc function, and this will be the function, the code that actually spawns and launches your fireball. Firstly, since it is activated using an advancement, we want it to reset every time we use it. The first thing we're going to say is that advancements revoke at s only tutorial data pack, and we want to say the name of the advancement, which is use throwable fireball. Next, we want to actually spawn in our fireball. So the next line will go executed on the player, so we'll execute anchored eyes, so it is exactly where the player is looking, and then we'll go and say run summon fireball, and this time instead of using the squiggly line, we want to use the up arrow thing to represent a location relative to your eyes, and then here we'll want to put minus 0.5, and the third one we'll want to put 0.5 on it, just like so. And then we want a big bracket here. And then inside the big bracket, we can have explosion power. This will determine how strong the explosion is. Now, at the start of the video, the one I showed is explosion power 2. So if you want it to be stronger, then you can put a bigger number there. And if you want it to be weaker, then you can put 1 or 0 onto there. Now, this time I'm gonna put 3 here. And then we just want to put in tags. And we just want to have a couple of tags here. So firstly, we want to have a tag called motion medium. And then next, we just want another tag called time lived. And there we go. And that should be everything you need for this file right here. Next, we want to go to our load function here. So firstly, we want to make quite a few scoreboards here. So we'll do scoreboard, objectives, add, and this one will called motion x1 dummy. So this will be a dummy scoreboard, and we actually need quite a few of these. So we have motion x1, y1, as well as z1. And then we want to copy all 3 of these. And actually, we need another set, but instead of 1, it's number 2 here. And finally, we want one more scoreboard here, which is called time lived, and it'll be a dummy once again. So here we have 6 scoreboard at the top here, and we have another scoreboard down here. So the top 6 scoreboard is used to add the motion to the fireball to make it fire in the direction you're looking, and the bottom one here is just a bit of a quality of life kind of thing. So because sometimes if your fireball flies a bit too far away, and it'll start losing power, so it'll basically start to slow down and eventually froze mid-air, not moving, and it won't explode as well. This means it'll cause a bunch of entities that are just not doing anything. If we add a time lived scoreboard here, we can detect if they have been in the world for way too long and they still haven't exploded, which means that they're probably not doing anything, so we will kill it if they have been in the world for too long here. And this will be it. Now if we go to our loop file here, so we'll first do the thing that kills the entity if they have been in the world for too long. So we'll do execute as at e tag equals time lived. So any entity that has the time lived tag, run scoreboard players add at s time lived 1. So this will just add time lived to the entity if they have the tag, and then we can go execute as at e type equals fireball, and it will be tag equals time lived once again, and if their score at s of time lived matches 400 ticks, which will be 20 seconds. So if the fireball has been in the world for 20 seconds without exploding, then we'll run kill at s. For the 400 here, we want to add 2 full stop after the 400, which means any number bigger than 400. So it's just a safety precaution. If somehow a entity jump past the 400 score, then they'll still get killed. So you just want to add another 2 full stop at the end there. And now finally, we want to be able to actually add the motion to the fireball. So we'll go execute as at e tag equals motion medium, and also it will be tagged that is not motion added If they have this tag, then we'll execute at s. We want it to be rotated as at p. Run a new function in our tutorial data pack, and it'll just be apply motion medium then, and just like that. And that will be everything we need in our loop function. So now we want to make the file for applying motion medium. So we just click new file, apply motion medium.mc function. And in here will be this chunk of code. Now this chunk of code basically is getting the coordinates of two very close locations, so just 0.1 blocks away, and with the two locations it'll basically calculate which direction the item is going and therefore apply a motion to launch the item forward. This is more explained better by another YouTuber called Timberforge in their video, so I'll recommend you to go and check that one out for a more detailed explanation of how all these work. Now you can see here right after double you have a set you have 0.01. Now this will basically mean how quick the fireball will be flying. So if you want the fireball to fly a little bit quicker, then you can increase this number to something bigger. Now for this example here, I'll do 0.03 for all of these numbers. So it'll fly at a decent speed. And that's basically it. So with this, you should be able to make a right clickable fireball that will shoot. So let's go into the game and see how this actually worked out. Back into the game now, we want to type /reload. And we'll just get our fireball by typing /loot give myself loot and our give fireball loot table here, and we'll get ourselves one fireball. And if we just right click, boom, it just shoots forward at the direction we're looking. So I can look on this direction and it'll go in that direction. If I look over here, it'll go there. And if I want, it'll shoot downwards. Now, one thing to note is that you may see, oh, I can fireball jump. That's very cool. That is very cool, except the fact that you will unfortunately die in the explosion unless you have a very high blast protection armor. So keep that in mind. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about data packs, consider subscribing and liking to the video. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.